renunciation and inner contemplation. Siddhartha met Yasodhara when he was 16 years old, and they fell in love. Yasodhara was the daughter of King Superbuddha, who reigned over the Kolya race. She was the same age as Prince Siddhartha. Years later, Gautama explained to his disciples the reason for their swift delight in each other was that Yasodhara had been his wife in countless lifetimes past. Gautama's father was still worried about his son's sense of compassion. His fear was that Siddhartha would one day leave. He went to great trouble to build great palaces to keep Siddhartha occupied. King Suddhodana also made a rule that there were to be no old people and no sick or dying people within the palaces, in case this stimulated the young prince's compassion. Eventually, the prince tired of the palaces, and the king decided to build another. The land he had set aside for it meant that Siddhartha would need to go through the town. On these journeys, Siddhartha noticed an old man in the crowd and learned about the existence of old age. The second time he came across a diseased man and learned there was disease. And on the third attempt, he came across a funeral procession carrying a dead man. He discovered that there was death. A fourth time, he saw a bald-headed man in a rough robe. The man had peace with him. When he inquired, "Who is that?" it was explained, he is a monk who has gone forth from his home to lead a simple religious life, to find peace of mind through good actions, harmlessness, and kindness to all creatures. Siddhartha had seen the truth of mortal life, old age, sickness and death, neglect, poverty, suffering and grief. Yet he also glimpsed a man who seemed to have found a way of salvation. Siddhartha could stay in the palace no more. The solution was clear to Siddhartha. He must renounce his possessions, leave his home, go forth into the world penniless, and seek the divine secret he had sensed in the presence of the monk. Then he would find a way of teaching it to others. Siddhartha realized the degree of deception that had surrounded his life. He went to inform his father of his decision to leave. The king begged him to stay. Suddhodana placed men around the palace to prevent this. His every movement was watched. This guarding by his foster mother and father was not what held him there. What held him was his love for his wife, Yasodhara. Yasodhara was going to give birth by the time of the full moon. She was extremely happy and in her 29th year. Siddhartha could not bear the thought of leaving her. Yasodhara bore him a son, Rahula. Some say he left without even bidding farewell to his charming and faithful wife. Others say they discussed it, and she begged him not to go. Buddha and Channa, a close servant, left through the gate of salvation, and the guards who stood there fell into a deep sleep. The gates swung open silently, and Siddhartha passed outside. Siddhartha Gautama was motivated by compassion for humanity. He left home determined to think through the enigma of human suffering, that he might point a way out of it.